It was another emotional day of testimony for day 2 of the trial for the Bellevue father who faces charges for the murder of his 2 children. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us today. I'm Dave Zavolinsky. Investigators are alleging that Adam Price smothered his 2 young children, 5-year-old Emily and 3-year-old Teddy, to death. It happened in Bellevue, and then Price ran off to California. Today, the mother of the children, Mary Nielsen, took the stand to give her testimony. She fought back tears while 911 recordings of the calls she made while she was wondering where her children were. A temporary custody agreement was made between Price and Nielsen back in February of 2021. The week of the murder, Nielsen testifies she spoke with Adam with separate times on FaceTime the week of May 10th, with the last one being initiated by Adam on May 13th. Nielsen shared her perspective on Price's demeanor on the calls.
Generally, he was short, irritated. When I would observe him on the FaceTime calls on May 13th, he was flat and emotionless.
What is Exhibit 6 News says Brian Mastry is inside the courtroom this afternoon. He is monitoring the very latest on the trial. He is currently providing a live blog, which you are able to find over at WOWT.com. Of course, tune in later this evening on 6 News for a recap of day 2 of the murder trial.